Gregory, be still. I think she's found us.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Say here. Let's get right into it. Wow. Okay, just messing around with some other smaller robotic builds before I start my Transformers 2007 Optimus Prime. Here we have Friday Night at Freddy's Lefty. Ooh. And the instructions for this guy are actually up on Rebrickable right now if you're interested in purchasing them. But let's get into the specs first. So my boy Lefty here is coming in at a good 5 inches from head to toe. It's composed of 205 pieces, including the pieces to build the microphone here, and should take you no more than an hour to build. Nice. Now I'ma keep it a buck with you. If you ask me the backstory behind the characters from this series, my response would be, I have no idea! But I said, you know what, let me try something different because I've been doing a lot of Lego Transformers, so let me throw a wild card in there and see what happens. Now at first, I was going to do a regular large scale version of Lefty here, but then I kind of thought about it and I was like, if I build a regular scale version of this guy that scales with the head, it's gonna be like 8 to 7 inches tall. And that's okay, but really the only thing that's going to be added is I'm just going to have to make his limbs like 5 times longer. And due to the nature of the characters, it's kind of redundant to give them these super long limbs when building them out of Lego because there's not really any details on the limbs. They're kind of just big teddy bears or big furry animals. But you know what? Let me give you an example real quick. So if I'm building Transformers 2007 Bumblebee, right? It makes a lot more sense to build out his full legs and full arms because there's so many details on them. But in the case of Lefty here, since he just got these furry rounded limbs, there's kind of no point in wasting all of those pieces for a full scale mock. So I just made a smaller scaled one and captured all the major details within this model. Oh! And you know what? Best decision I ever made, because now I can build all of the other characters at this scale and just have my own little Lego mini Friday Night at series going. And not only that, because of the small scale, these guys are easier to build, more fun to build, and look at the posability they get. Like, what? I've never made a build that could stand on one leg like this, so this is pretty crazy for me. On a side note though, if you too build Lego Transformers, Lego Mechs, or Lego Cyborgs, you should definitely pop into my Lego Mech Facebook group or Lego Discord forum called Mech City and share your work. The link to those 2 pages will be in the description. And if you're interested in seeing another one of my buyable mocks, I'll leave the link to my Transformers Dark of the Moon Laserbeak build at the end of this video. Now building mini mocks is actually really interesting because I had to do a little bit of experimenting with the scale of certain details here because you can't make everything too big, otherwise you have to increase the size of the whole thing, but then certain details have to pop so that you know exactly who the build is supposed to be. So as you can see, he's got a really small rounded body here, but then the bow tie itself has been emphasized, so that's larger than it's supposed to be, and then the star which is under the bow tie that sits on the front of his chest has also been emphasized a little bit. And then of course we've got the giant mic here, which is obviously not supposed to be bigger than his entire body right here, but it works because it's one of his iconic details, so making it larger really flows with the whole size of the design. And bruh, speaking of the design, I am really satisfied with how this head sculpt came out because I managed to capture all of the most prominent details within it. So we got the busted eye here, the white teeth, the red cheeks on the side, the light that sits on the top of his head that's kind of supposed to be like a top hat, and then we've got the gray earlobes. So just having all of those really solidify this as a mini Lefty mock without me even having to tell anybody this is Lefty. But you know what? In the comments, let me know what your favorite part of this build was. But before you even do that, let me get into this articulation real quick. So as you can see, all of the limbs are attached via ball joints. So we've got a lot of movement at the knee and the foot right here. We've got some movement in the biceps and forearms. And of course, the hands can move outward just like that. And we've got some movement in the fingers. And lastly, we've got some movement in the neck right here, and the mouth can open and close.
Let's get you home.